Graduate of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department Corrections Academy, as well as a graduate of the Department of Criminal Justice Training, and he received continuous education through the Department of Criminal Justice annually. His present occupation is the Assistant Chief of Police of the City of Williamstown, where he also serves as the Williamstown Lake Patrol Boating Officer. Previously, he spent 18 years with the City of Williamstown in the police department, as well as the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, where he was a corrections deputy, and also as a Kent County deputy jailer. His community affiliations include a participant of the annual Shop with a Cop program in Grant County, the Kentucky Peace Officers Association member, as well as the Kentucky Association of Chief of Police member since 2004, and a member of the Kentucky FOP. Welcome, Mr. Hankins. Gentlemen, just to remind you, you'll be asked a question. You will have 1 minute to form a response. If you go over the 1 minute, you'll hear a bell. So it sounds like that. Mr. Hankins, first question to you. In your profile that you submitted to the Grant County News, you mentioned that if elected, the department would have more patrol and visibility in the county. With a limited budget, how do you plan to control costs and still accomplish this goal?
Well, first thing I want to do on the budget is sit down with our county executive and go over that budget with him and see just how much money we have. And if there's any place that I can cut some expenses where we can utilize some more money to either maybe possibly hire some more deputies if need be, I will look into that. But my main focus is to really work on the providing some more control and more visibility for the county areas that need to be more patrolled.
Thank you. Mr. Dills, what areas, if any, of the county are not patrolled as much as they should be, and what can be done to fix this situation?
Right now, currently, it's our low crime areas, which is the southern end of the county core, and it's probably most likely the least patrolled in the county. The reason why is the limited resources I have with deputies, and it's based on, I do know what the funding that we receive through the fiscal court are very generous on what we do receive, but we have limited funds. The only way to get any additional funds that I know would be increased taxes, and we're in a situation right now with a bad economy that's not an answer. And currently is where the crime's at, is where the deputies are patrolling heavier.
Mr. Hankins, you also said that you would like to establish a working relationship with other law enforcement departments, businesses, citizens, and elected officials. What impact do you believe this will have on the community's safety?
Well, when I get elected, I do want to work with our city officials. I do want to work with our other police agencies that we have here in the county. I feel like Grant County needs some attention to their drug problem that we have going on. And I feel like if we work with the other agencies and able to combat that drug problem, I think it would better benefit all of us that live here, not only the people that have the kids in the school, and it's going to benefit everybody.
Mr. Dills, what initiatives have you undertaken that you think have positively impacted the county?
A number of them. As far as law enforcement, a few of the things that I've done, I've implemented back in 1999 the school resource officer in our school system when we were challenged with the issues of violence in our school. Now we're dealing with the drug issues, so I have the school resource officer maintaining that we keep our drugs out of our school. Also, I partner with the Northern Kentucky Drug Strike Force, and as most of you seen, we're constantly in the paper where we're either shutting down a meth lab or we're making arrests on drug arrests. I have an excellent staff. I have a K-9 unit that's very well trained for the detection of drugs, and we're currently making a lot of arrests on drugs. Probably the worst situation we're dealing with drugs now is on the pharmaceutical drugs.
Well, I'm glad that both you gentlemen mentioned drugs, because that leads into my next question. They are a continual problem in all communities. Prescription drug abuse in particular is the fastest growing drug problem. Mr. Dills, in what ways would you attempt to decrease drug activity in the county?
Well, we're currently doing that with pharmaceutical drugs. I keep in contact with our local doctors. Anytime that we're experiencing a patient, they have a system called, that we can actually go to check and see who's receiving the drugs prescription as far as painkillers. And at that time, if we see abuse of it, or we find out through informants that they're selling these drugs, we contact the doctors. What the doctor's office has been doing in cooperation with our effort is they're drug testing these patients to make sure that the drugs that they're prescribing to them being used on and not being sold.
Mr. Hagan, the same question. We all know that they are a continual problem. Both of you mentioned that. In what ways would you attempt to decrease drug activity in the county if you were elected sheriff?
Well, kind of what I mentioned on the, kind of got into it on the last question, but I want to try to get the agencies to work together and maybe form a county-wide task force to battle or, combat this. We do need to work on that. That is something that is very, very important. It's important to me. I've got 2 kids in school that I don't want them exposed to that kind of stuff. I think by working with the other county agencies, and I know there's officers out there that want to do this. They want to get into this drug activity to combat this, and go after the ones that's peddling it on the street or manufacturing it and giving it to our kids, basically. That's how I'm going to combat it if I'm elected sheriff.
Okay. Mr. Hankins, what is the biggest change you would make if you were elected sheriff?
Well, the biggest change is probably, like I said, I feel like we need more visibility and more patrol on our county roads. I'm talking to the citizens, I'm finding out that, they want to see a sheriff's car out there. I think that's one of the main things that I'm going to work on. And the second thing is the working with the other county departments to do these other things that need to be done. And the main one is combating the drug thing.
Mr. Dills, you have said before that it's a constant struggle to find funding to keep the sheriff's department adequately staffed. How do you plan on protecting the county when staffing costs are such a concern?
Well, we're currently, and I agree with Chris what he's saying, we are understaffed. I do want to see personally as a sheriff more visibility with my units. I can't currently do that visibility and the issues that we deal with. The sheriff's office is different than any other law enforcement agency. I'm man with duties such as the service of the court. I have to man the courthouses. I have to extradite prisoners in and out of the state of Kentucky, and I also have to be involved with the tax collection and several other duties that regular police departments are not having to do. I currently have a staff that works well with scheduling our deputies. We're using the most efficient hours possible to cover. We are covering a 24/7 hour shift right now. The issues that we run into is when the deputy's pulled off for transport, that loses visibility, but it's just one of our duties. And as I said before, there's no answer other than to raise taxes. We're in an economy right now. I'm a very conservative person. I stay under budget with my office.
Mr. Hankins, what do you bring to the table that your opponent does not?
A long time ago, as a young boy, I wanted to be sheriff. I was raised in a household where my father was retired from the Kentucky State Police. So I was exposed to law enforcement for a long time. And as I grew older, I chose to get into the law enforcement profession. Serving Williamstown has been enjoyable to me for the last 18 years as a police officer and as their assistant chief. But I feel now that I can contribute much more serving our citizens here.